We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the early morning hours of July 16th, 1945, a flash of bright light illuminated the sky over Jornada del Muerto, New Mexico. The flash of light could be seen for miles around, followed by a rising fireball and a dense mushroom cloud. To an unsuspecting bystander, this was just a glimpse of the awe-inspiring destructive power of the atomic bomb. Never before had such a powerful man-made weapon been used. Never before had man been so uncertain of his future because of one event. As the radioactive mushroom cloud rose over the Trinity test site, the United States and the rest of the world was launched into the nuclear age.
Before I got my hand up to start adjusting the goggles, I felt something that I didn't know, I hadn't been smart enough to interpret, to figure out what was going to happen, and nobody had thought of it, I think. It was a cool desert morning. The sun had not quite come up. The air was still. It had that curious chill of a hot place, which is its coolest hour of the day. And suddenly, on that cold background, the heat of the sun came to me before the sun rose. It was the heat of the bomb, not the light, but the heat was the first thing that I could feel.
Nuclear fission in uranium was discovered in December 1938 by German chemists Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann. Germany subsequently began a nuclear research project, the Uranverein, led by Kurt Diebner, Ibrahim Nassau, Walter Gerlach, and Erich Schumann. As World War II raged on in Europe, it became apparent to some American scientists that the Germans were getting closer to developing a nuclear weapon capable of mass destruction. Albert Einstein quickly sent a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt explaining the possibility of creating a new nuclear weapon. A theoretical physicist named J. Robert Oppenheimer began actively recruiting scientists and civilian workers to work at Los Alamos National Laboratory, New Mexico. The project at Los Alamos required many different contributions from various scientists. Under the direction of Oppenheimer and General Leslie Groves, the Manhattan Project sought out physicists and workers who could contribute to the development of the atomic bomb. There was a large amount of pressure to quickly develop the bomb because of the possibilities that the Germans might create the bomb first. Oppenheimer found it difficult to recruit scientists for this project because of the routine and daily life that was instituted at Los Alamos.
The scientists who accepted membership in the project would have to lead a restricted life due to the confidentiality that was required of those who worked at Los Alamos.
The need to quickly enrich uranium and plutonium resulted in the creation of laboratories at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and Hanford, Washington. Many other problems also occurred during the development of the bomb. One of these was how to trigger the chain reaction needed to create the explosion. One method was called the gun-tight method. Although this method would work for the uranium bomb, another method had to be found for the plutonium bomb. For the plutonium bomb, an implosion method was devised. Each of these developments would lead to the successful test at Trinity Site. The development of the atomic bomb caused ethical controversy over its use. After it was apparent that the bomb could be built, the scientists who had developed the bomb felt that it should not ever be used. In fact, a group of scientists led by Leo Szilard petitioned President Truman to not use the atomic weapons built. Oppenheimer felt that the scientists who developed the bomb were separate from the politics behind it. However, on that fateful day of August 6, 1945, the B-29 bomber Enola Gay dropped Little Boy, a uranium bomb, on the unsuspecting city of Hiroshima, Japan.
Before this event, Truman had told Stalin at the Potsdam Conference that the U.S. had successfully exploded the first atomic bomb in order to demonstrate the United States' newfound ability to win the war in the Pacific. Stalin responded by saying that he already knew. With the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, war would now involve the threat of nuclear attack. During the Korean and Vietnam Wars, there were people like General Douglas MacArthur and Barry Goldwater who advocated the use of nuclear weapons on other countries. There were many more, though, who actively opposed such use of these destructive weapons. The atomic bomb's ability to destroy an entire city instantly changed the way diplomacy was done for years to come.
After the creation of the atomic bomb, the world was plunged into an age of uncertainty. Some literature of the post-World War II era reflects the fear felt during the beginning of the nuclear age. For instance, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller incorporates the topic of paranoia and the order in daily life that many people sought during this time period. Cold War fears dealt largely with the constant possibility of a nuclear attack. Because of this, countries were more hesitant in deciding to go to war.
If you graph human deaths from war across the last 200 years, you will see an exponential increase up to 1945, at which point the line on the graph drops to about 1 million a year and stays there for the rest of the century. Clearly, there was a radical break in international affairs in 1945. And I think that break has to be attributed to this discovery that scientists made.
Fears of nuclear attack also led to changes in diplomacy, such as the need to prevent the use of such weapons. For instance, the United States and the Soviet Union passed SALT I and SALT II to cut down on the production of nuclear weapons. Even today, we fear that countries that may pose a threat to our national security will get their hands on weapons of mass destruction. Overall, the Manhattan Project has left a dark legacy that society will have to deal with for generations to come. To learn more about nuclear technology and international diplomacy relating to this subject, please visit the Arms Control Association's website.
President Eisenhower decided that America should topple the Arbenz government, secretly.
Like a great bird in a blue sky over a blue ocean, civilized men fly! Through puffy clouds and beautiful rainbows with the power and the speed and the will to succeed, money men fly! No need to clomp around through the ash, the rubble, and the mud. No need for face-to-face, or even worse, to put a perfectly spit shot on a brand new levee loose on the dirty, rusty ground. Oh, sure, you could mobilize 1 million troops, although 1,000 could probably get the job done.